While grasshoppers get all the shine, there's plenty of terrestrials, crickets, beetles, ants that trout love to eat. Especially in high alpine streams in summer, these patterns can be really, really effective. This cricket pattern is one that I've had a lot of fun with. I'm tying on an Umpqua X Series stubby chubby hook in a size 10. I really like these hooks, great gap, the heavy wire floats well if you use foam. Tying a thin strip of foam on the hook shank and bind it down with your tying thread. Here I'm using Viva 6/0 in black. A little bit of black crystal flash tied to the shank and folded back creates a nice little shiny butt on this fly. Snip the crystal flash off close and find a piece of foam about a hook gap in length. Here I'm snipping it into a kind of point to make it a little bit easier to tie in. Tie it in facing back and bind it down. Moving your thread forward, tie in a piece of small brassy wire. Then take 2 pieces of peacock herl, a piece of black, and a piece of olive ostrich, and tie them in along with the wire. Bring your thread back to the rear of the hook, and you can either snip or use your tying thread to bind down the excess fibers. Spinning the peacock herl and the ostrich onto the wire to create a brush. You can then take a dubbing brush, or in this case a firm toothbrush, and brush it out. This is going to be the body of our fly. It's really buggy and pretty durable, especially with the wire. As you take wraps forward, continue to twist it so that it's bound to the wire. Once you get a little bit in front of the hook point, fold your body back and tie in a piece of red floss material. This is going to be the rear legs of our cricket. Fold the legs to the side and continue to make your body with your wire, peacock, and ostrich brush. Bring it up to just beyond the hook eye and tie it in. If you have a pair of scissors that you really don't like or are very old, you can use that to snip off the wire, but I wouldn't do it with your best tying scissors. A little bit of zap-a-gap on the top of the fly and the very rear of the foam is going to help us create this top of the body. Hold it down, leaving some at the back to create a butt to this fly, pressing it down with your finger to adhere. Tie it in just beyond the hook eye. I'm using some EP fibers and olive for the wing. Tie them in and adjust them. That little bump at the front is going to get covered up in this next step. At this point, I'm trimming them a little bit long because I'm going to adjust it later. A tiny piece of high-vis razor foam is going to be the sighter for this fly. As I did before, cutting it into a little bit of a point makes it a little bit easier to tie in. Fold the body foam back over the razor foam, leaving, again, a big overlap to create the head of this fly. You can then bind it down starting with a loose wrap and then a tight wrap. Taking care not to cut your razor foam, cut off the body foam. For the legs in the front, I'm using some black and brown barred floss. I think the lighter the leg material, the more motion you get, and on a fly this small, it's certainly what I'd like to go with. Pull your rubber legs into position and tie them in. This next step is a lot easier if you can get those rubber legs out of the way. So using just a piece of straw that I've cut makes this step a lot easier. Because our hook eye is underneath that foam, I find that rotating the vise to bring that hook eye toward you makes it a little easier, but it's totally not necessary if you don't have a rotary vise. Make a few whip turns with your whip finisher. And you can finish this fly off with some head cement, or in this case, I'm using UV Clear Cure. A little bit of time with the UV torch, and this fly is going to be ready to go. All we got to do now is trim up our rubber legs and our wing. You can trim them as short or as long as you want. I try to leave those back legs quite a bit longer than the front legs. Well, you can leave the wing long if you want. I like to trim it just so the wing reaches the end of the body. And there you go, Rickety Cricket. Great little terrestrial pattern, especially in high alpine streams.